Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thank you all for tuning into the show. As always, I got my crew with me, Darnell and Tyler. I'm Trey, and we're coming your way with the 100th edition of the Don't Kill the Messengers podcast. First thing we're about to get into for this week is some UFC. We're about to touch on UFC 221. That's going to be going down this Saturday. First fight we're going to get into, man, is Blades versus Mark Hunt. Darnell, just what are your thoughts on this fight? First of all, have you seen Blades fight before? Are you familiar with it?
I have not.
Yeah, same here, man.
Not really, no.
Yeah.
So, Curtis Blades is a new one. But I mean, it's an interesting fight. Just all the extra had going on with the UFC as far as getting cleared and all this stuff. Going back to the results of the Brock Lesnar fight. So, yeah, interesting one just to see see what kind of Mark Hunt do we get. Do we get the Super Samoan or do we get be on the downside?
Yeah. And, like I said, this is, don't know who this guy is, but man, I didn't know who the hell Francis Ngannou was, and he went out there and destroyed my boy. So, this would be a good time for him to just make his name known for himself, man, with Blades. So, you brought up a good point with Mark Hunt, man, just to see where he's at, in the octagon, see if he can go up in there and get an explosive knockout, or just see, if he's still on his P's and Q's, like he was before. But, yeah, man, this is going to be interesting just to see with Blades, what type of fighter he is, what he can do, and so forth. Because, just not familiar with him. So you just with him, man, you going to go with Mark Hunt on this one?
I'm going to go with the guy I don't know.
Really?
Just up here, 6'4". So he's going to have some decent reach on him. They're about the same weight.
Yeah.
And, just then as long as you're patient and you don't try to just get in a slugfest with Mark Hunt, but it's just as that kind of size on him. If he can just pick him apart from the outside and land whatever shots he wants, he should win. So that's where I'm going to go.
Okay. I'm going to roll with the guy that I know, man, Mark Hunt. Just think hopefully, just with his experience, he should be able to handle a young guy like Blades. You say he's 26? You there?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. You say he's 26?
Yeah, you guys.
Okay. So, yeah, just hopefully, man, he can use that experience. Experience plays a huge role into fighting in MMA. So, hopefully he can go in there and just handle business. But it's going to be interesting to see what this guy's made out of, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Well, up next, man, we have Romero versus Rockhold. Just thoughts on this one.
I mean, if you don't look for anything else on this card, this is one that's going to be interesting. I mean, you got cream of the crop as far as middleweight division going after each other with Rockhold and Romero. So, I mean, it's going to be an interesting fight. Pretty good all-around fighter. He seems to either lose quickly or win quickly. Honestly, he put a lot of time in the cage.
Yeah.
Romero, he's proven himself to have a little bit more of a gas tank than people would expect for all the muscle that he carries. But everybody knows he can be lights out on somebody very quickly, and he's a very strong wrestler.
Yeah.
This will be an interesting chess match to watch.
Yeah, I agree, man. You basically, took the words out of my mouth, man. Just like Rockhold style, he's a guy that can go up in there and just knock you out. With Romero, he's an older guy, man. I think he's 40, 41 now. Just, dude, this looks like he's on roids, man, with his body, dude. It's ridiculous just how just in shape he is and everything, just how he just can keep that muscle on him and just work. So just going to be interesting to see how these two will just go up in there and just see how they're going to just take advantage of the 5 rounds in there and see what they can do. So, who you got, man? Just thoughts on this fight.
I am going to go with Rockhold here.
Okay.
With the more well-rounded fighter, in my opinion.
All right. I'm gonna go with Romero, man. Kind of like what I told you before. I feel as if he should have been a champ when he fought Whitaker. Whitaker, he just fought stupid in my opinion. Whitaker was basically on a shredded leg and he didn't do anything to work on the leg or anything like that. Just fought completely stupid. He was just on a tear, before he ended up, taking the L, to Whitaker and everything. So just hopefully, man, I just think he's going to be able to rebound, and just be able to go up in there, man, and just handle business. I'm feeling a knockout by, Romero. I think honestly, I think it'll be a quick fight. I think he's going to go up in there, man, and knock him out quick. Safe, man.
Wow.
Yeah. Just a feeling, man. Gut feeling it could be, but I will say this. I do think the longer this fight goes, I think, Rockhold, the longer this fight goes, is going to be, more to Rockhold's advantage. So that's what I'm feeling. Just with him being older, man, I think Romero's still a beast, but just with his age, man, he's going to have to give up out soon, man. Father Time's going to have to get to him, but I think he's going to go in there and handle business quick, against Rockhold. But like I said, if this fight goes longer, the longer this fight goes, the more, I think Rockhold's going to have the advantage. So.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Yoel will probably want to go in there and end it quickly. So Rocco's just not the guy you want to just keep playing around with round after round.
Yeah.
Because I just feel like Rocco has more ways to win. So
yeah.
If it ends early, then I definitely think it's believable that Romero wins that. But, once you get into that second, third, fourth, fifth round, it's going to be the case.
Yeah. Now, trying to think, man, was this Rockhold fought after business? This is
yeah, he beat I think David Branch.
Okay, yeah, that's right. Yeah. Okay, just thinking again. I don't know. I was just thinking to see where he was mentally after the Bisping fight, but yeah, he did fight after that. So, all right,
by TKO.
Yeah.
So he was back to form quickly.
Yep. Yeah, I forgot all about that. All right. Up next, we're going to just touch on Floyd Mayweather and McGregor. There was a video of Floyd Mayweather going into a MMA ring just for a quick second, man, and it went off. A lot of people were saying he was teasing a possible UFC fight with McGregor. Just what are you guys' thoughts on that, man? Y'all think it's going to happen or what?
Not in the UFC ring. What would be the point?
I mean, hey, you were saying before that, man, I doubt this fight is going to happen between Mayweather and McGregor in a boxing ring, man. So,
what was happening in a boxing ring? But Floyd, who we all know, his pick fights, he loses. So why would he even think about going into an octagon where put on his back it's over?
Yeah. Honestly, I would be more scared for Floyd Mayweather in a UFC ring than I even thought I would ever be for McGregor going into a boxing ring. I'm not saying that Floyd Mayweather couldn't, walk out alive, because he could, but I don't know. We've said it before. Going to boxing is probably easier to translate than going to the UFC. There's just so many more variables that come into play, and I don't. Have you ever seen Mayweather lift his leg above his knee? I just don't know that we've seen. I don't know. I just don't think we've seen enough variety out of Mayweather to even think it's possible for him to fight in the UFC.
I can agree with that, man. Like I said, I think Floyd is a very smart businessman. I think he'll just be hyping it up, just getting some attention to himself. I don't really think he wants any problems with just going into the UFC and fighting McGregor. He came out and made a lot of money off of the boxing fight. I think he's pretty much set now. Just don't really think there's just any need for him to even just risk doing that. So just think it's all hype, man. I honestly, I couldn't really see it happening. But like I said before, man, if he could somehow get into a contract with the UFC where, hey, we're just going to be standing up in the octagon the whole time, no clinching, no wrestling, no kicks, just straight up just punching, I could see him doing that. But I doubt, McGregor's going to be trying to do anything like that. But, just have to see, man. Up next, it was announced last week that Triple G and Canelo, they are going to be having their rematch. I think it's in May, I want to say, that they're going to be fighting again. But just
yes, Cinco de Mayo.
Oh, Cinco de Mayo. Okay, yeah. So May, yep. 5th of May. So, just what are you guys' thoughts on that, the rematch?
I find it pretty exciting. It was a good fight to watch, especially after everybody saw the debacle that was McGregor. That was the real fight of the year in boxing.
Yeah,
I'd definitely be ready to watch that again.
Yeah, one's for the purist, the other's for the casual. Definitely Triple G Canelo for the more serious boxing fan, for the one who actually into the sport rather than Mayweather McGregor monumental fight. I'm gonna watch it. Say I watched it. They push that to the side. I'll take Triple G Canelo any day.
Yeah, it's cool to see, man. Just with these two, them being the two baddest boxers out right now, just going at it. But still, if the first fight was, in my opinion, a fairly judged fight, I would have been a little bit more hyped for this one. My main concern with this second fight, the rematch, is just, man, what will the judges do? Because honestly, I felt as if Triple G won it. Canelo, he came out, I think yesterday, and said that he felt as if he won it by 2 points. He's a great fighter. He can feel his way and whatever. But I felt as if Triple G won that fight, man. It's just, just time and time again, you always just see boxing, just as that sport, man, where people just get screwed over just based upon the judges. So I'm excited for this fight, man. I love to just see these two just going at it, just giving it all they got, man, just slinging those punches back and forth at each other, just the speed and everything. But my main concern just right now, just what are these judges going to be like, man, because I am just not a fan of boxers getting robbed. Those guys work too hard, take too much punishment just for these judges to screw them over. So just have to see, though, man. I just have to have a little bit more faith in these judges, I guess.
Well, I mean, or just the boxers make it clear enough so everybody knows who wins. But yeah. Boxing has been a pretty dirty sport for a while. So yeah, we can't really trust what the judges are going to say.
Yeah. They both, hey, man, they both got some power, but they both got some chins too. So it'll be cool to see a knockout, man. But both of those guys can give and take. So just have to see. But it's going to be a fun one to watch for sure. But before we move on to NCAA basketball, guys, you just have anything else to add for either boxing or the UFC before we move on?
Nope.
Okay. All right, guys, just for NCAA basketball, just to start the discussion off, man, just what are your thoughts on your squads so far this season?
I guess I'll start this one out. Disappointing loss a couple nights ago to Northwestern on the road, because they were the previous year. So definitely not no loss is a good loss, but some you can't tolerate others. But, Michigan's kind of who you think they are, comfortable at home, shaky on the road. It's better on their home floor, home rims. But in a pretty good spot. Back down to either 24, 25 or just outside the top 25. The tournament, coming around, I think they'll fare okay. They're in reality, I just view Michigan as a team that'll anywhere from a 5 seed, and just be for a lot of teams. I usually look at Michigan. Mo Wagner's kind of the bread and butter there. There's Charles Matthews hasn't played too well as of late, but some other guys have stepped up a little bit. I guess notably, Hamid Abdur-Rahman's played pretty well this season. John Teskey's made strides coming off the bench, but they're right where I expect them to be, north of 500. Playing better basketball home than on the road. They've kind of always been that way. I think they're in pretty decent shape for the Big Ten tournament. Pretty good shape going into the national tournament. Hit a brick wall and have a train wreck. I see them getting in, and that's what you have to do. You just have to get in.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely a scary team for anybody to play, just because, I mean, offenses are, if they get hot, what you can do.
Yeah.
But, I mean, they've also showed some toughness in games like against us. So.
Yeah. Yeah,
I guess. Okay.
Yeah, I was going to say, which is, I don't want to say burns, because Michigan plays tough. They just play tough in their own way. That's where a team like Michigan State, typical Duke, North Carolina, they'll try and just hustle you, outpower you. Michigan, they'll beat you by out hustling you. I mean, yeah, they play tough. They play strong. They typically don't make a lot of mistakes on the floor. But yeah, I mean, I agree with you. They do show toughness. It's just kind of a different kind of toughness. They're not a physically big team. Have, a lot of tall, broad guys. They got a lot of, but hey, play tough mentally or physically. It always poses problems for an opposing team.
I guess that'll lead me to my squad. I mean, they're in the area where talent-wise they should be. So they're, a top 5 team. They're ranked 4 in the nation. And 2 out of 3 of their steps. So I can't complain about that. The next biggest matchup coming up, Purdue, who's now number 3. We'll see that next test for them, but I also have to give them some props just with everything that's in the news going on, that they've still shows a lot of mental toughness for the kids, for how they've been able to come together and still, because everything that's going on in the news doesn't really affect this current team playing. At least nothing has come out where any of them have done anything nature. So I do give them some extra kudos there. Allowed this over to University right now that they're still playing this well in the top 5.
Now, just with you brought it up with the whole this drama that's been going on right now at the university. Tom Izzo's name was brought up in that. Are you just worried that any possible that the team could possibly discipline down the road or anything like that, Darnell? Or how do you?
I mean, definitely worried that that's a possibility. I mean, the Outside the Lines report from ESPN, it was rough to read. Doing some more research, I do feel like it was a little bit slanted that they brought up a lot of this stuff like it wasn't reported on, where basically they got every bit of their story from the Lansing State Journal. So actually reported and vetted. So, I think it's more than just I don't think it's issue of, I'll bring D'Antonio in on this as well, trying to hide things. I do think this kind of goes beyond to basically like what was going on at Florida State for the whole Jameis Winston issue. Like this goes to like trying to protect schools, and I think that's a whole nother issue.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, definitely there's a possibility that discipline could happen and school gets set back a long ways. We saw how long it took for Penn State to recover from losses. I mean, that whole fiasco happened almost 10 years ago now, and they're just in year 2 of like really being a good team again. So
yeah,
in fear. I mean, I hope it comes out that these coaches that have been nationally known as good guys. I hope that, but I'm not going to be one that just stands up and says there's no way that these guys did this just because I know what college sports are.
Yeah, just like I was telling you, man, Michigan State, they're getting the main attention for it right now, but I don't care if it's football, basketball, there's a lot of other colleges out there that's doing this as well, man. They just haven't got the attention brought to them yet, at least. So it's going to be more to come out, man, for sure. So it's going to be a storm, just to see how these players and stuff will be able to deal with that and everything that's going to be coming. So it's going to have to see. Now, just for this week, guys, what games are you excited for the most?
Well, I mean, like I said, coming up this weekend, what was it? That game would be Sunday, I think, or Saturday. Michigan State with Purdue as number 4 versus number
3. Yeah.
So I'm keyed in for that. I know it's the school I went to, but I mean, 2 top 5 teams playing. I think most people will be tuning in for that.
Yeah. How about Thursday?
North Carolina and Duke.
Always fun at North Carolina this time. I don't care what the schools are ranked. I could care less if they're not ranked. That is a must watch.
Yeah.
Definitely. The first one I'm excited for just because it's sooner, but then the second one definitely Michigan State Purdue. A preview of the Big Ten championship game. It could very easily be a preview. I mean, I don't want to try and jinx anybody here, but it could possibly be a Final Four preview. Get seeded. But that game is gonna draw big pictures to where either of those teams are. But I definitely think it'll give one team kind of the push they need going, right here at the second half, close to the end of the regular season.
Let's pick it, man. Who y'all think will win that one? Out of Purdue and Michigan State.
Where's the game at? That's what I need to know. I just don't know who's home.
So let me see.
I just had it up. I don't know why I didn't look.
Said Breslin.
At Michigan State.
Yeah.
It's at Michigan State?
Yeah.
I mean, I think that gives a slight advantage to Michigan State. They always say it's who would I pick? I don't know. I've seen really good basketball out of both teams. And I'll pick Purdue on this one. I've just seen less concerning qualities. The only thing I don't like about Michigan State this season is they let a lot of teams hang around. I mean, even as of late, beat Iowa by 3. Granted, on the road, good win. Easy place to win. I think that's a very underrated place in the Big Ten. I also let Rutgers hang around at home. And I don't like that at all. So I'm just going to give Purdue the good push. just based on the fact that I've seen them let less teams hang around.
I'm being a homer. I'm going with State.
I don't think you're making a bad pick either way. This
Izzo's going to be rowdy, so yeah.
Yeah. I'm with you, Todd. State gonna get their ass whooped, so.
I never said that.
Yeah. All right. There was another one too this week. I think it was St. John's and Gonzaga. I gotta check real quick. My phone's been.
St. John's should beat Villanova tonight.
They beat them tonight?
Yeah, St. John's beat Villanova, beating Duke and Villanova in the span of like 5 days. That's
yeah, making a name for himself for sure. Yeah.
A name for themselves. They're not that great of a basketball team. They're just catching fire right now, which is end up somehow being a bubble team late. I don't even know what the record is, but those are 2 wins that could give you the nod.
Yeah. Now, guys, who are some teams that you think are underperforming this year? Is there any teams that come to mind? Or
to be straight up honest, I think Michigan State's underperforming. I mean, just based on the fact they're letting some teams hang around that they should be beaten by 10 plus. I honestly believe we have not seen Michigan State play a flawless, because no team really plays a flawless game, but I don't think we've seen them reach their potential, which scares me, because if they catch fire late, they could go all the way. And, I guess I just don't want to see not reach that potential, because this team could be really good. I'm not saying they're having a bad season, because they're not. I mean, they're ranked number 4 and they've big games this year, but I just don't think we've seen them reach a potential that I think we expected them. Not yet.
I could see that. Yeah. But I guess my picks would be Thursday. I think both Duke and UNC have not been what you want out of them. Duke's been highly inconsistent and kind of the same with what you talked about with State, letting teams hang around they shouldn't. Of course, like we just spoke of, the loss to St. John's. And I did say early, it might have been private conversations with us, but I felt like they were a little bit overrated. I don't think they had the talent level that we're used to with them. But, when you start out a top 10 team and you just I don't know what else to say about it. And Trey, your boys.
Yeah, I was about to say, what about how do you guys feel about Kentucky? Because tied 4th in the SEC in their conference, man. They've been taking some L's this year. I was about to say, what do you guys think about them?
Yeah, I mean, it's bound to happen when you just keep having starting 5s of all freshmen every year. And this seems to be one of those years where, I mean, in the realm of things, they're still a top 25 team, so they're not terrible. But I don't think anybody's penciling them in the Final Four right now.
Mm-hmm.
You agree with that, Ty?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I don't even think there's really much more I can add to it.
Yeah.
If I could throw one more team in there, it'd be. I hate to do this to them. Once again, not because they're having a bad season or anything. They've taken a few L's that I don't think they should, but West Virginia, they've that I think have been unnecessary for them. They're one of those very dangerous teams. I mean, they were in the top, multiple weeks in a row, and now all of a sudden they're finding themselves just inside the top 20. Just kind of find that stride again, basketball. But, I thought they would have fared a little bit better here, especially in recent weeks. But performing just a little bit. And I know those are kind of some high-profile teams. having pretty good seasons. We expect to see more out of on a regular basis.
All right, guys. This wasn't on the thing, but I gotta ask: if you had to pick the number one team right now for NCAA basketball, in your opinion, who do you think is the best team out right
now? Right now, I say Purdue. I think Purdue has just about all the facets. They play solid offense, solid defense. They have size. They have quickness. Play outside. They play inside. You can describe a lot of teams that way. I think they would beat Villanova in a matchup. Virginia would be a very interesting game to watch. Virginia Purdue play. I texted Darnell a couple weeks ago, and I basically asked him. I said, "Is Virginia good, or like what's the deal?" And we come to the conclusion every time they just play smart, slow the game down basketball, and they force teams into it. I would just pick Purdue because I think I see the athleticism out of them more than I do Virginia. I don't know. That's why it's an opinion, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, that's not a bad pick. Who seems to be just playing really well right now. Virginia's in that conversation too, just because they're so good defensively. You're not going to do a ton against them offensively. I mean, the only game they lost this year, they still only gave up 68 points. Mm-hmm. If that tells you anything, this team can lock down. And if they find a consistency on offense, but rely on keeping the ball out of the rim like they do, it's tough to deal with them, and they got a lot of talent this year.
Mm-hmm. All right. Surprised you didn't pick a squad, man, but
I agree with Ty. Like, they haven't peaked this year. Like, I haven't seen that game from them where I'm just like, okay, yep, nobody's beating this team.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like you still think they haven't reached their full potential yet?
No. I still haven't seen that game from Bridges where I'm just like, okay, that's that lottery pick right there.
Okay.
Two, it was last game against Iowa, but he's not totally there. Like, there's more he can do.
Yeah, and which is, I think, a testament to that whole entire team. The fact that they're sitting at number 4, 22-3, and we haven't seen.
Are you still there, Ty?
Yeah, he just finished talking.
Okay. You just finished talking. Okay. Thought you still had something to say. Okay. Is there anything else for NCAA basketball, guys, before we move on?
No.
Okay, up next, we're about to get right into the NFL. Just go right into the Super Bowl, man. Guys, just what were your thoughts on the Super Bowl?
Well, I had to rewatch it a little later. I think you guys know I tapped out on the Super Bowl just because I was going through Patriots exhaustion. I guess woke up when my phone got the notice and I saw they lost, so I was like, maybe I guess I better look it up and see what happened. But I mean, it was an entertaining game, high scoring, not your usual Super Bowl type game since there wasn't a ton of defense played, especially a game with Bill Belichick in it. Mm-hmm. It's off to Philly. They whole offense based on quarterback, and they never look back and falls through the playoffs. Turning into a Super Bowl. So it was a fun game. Enjoyable to watch.
Yeah.
Just real quick, Ty. Were you guys surprised at possibly just how entertaining the game was. Like, did you, cause me and Todd, we talked last week, but so I guess it'd be a little bit more to you, Darnell, but were you kind of shocked that Philly was, not just able to, just get the win, but just was able to hang in there, with the Patriots like they did?
I'm not surprised they were able to hang in there, but that the game went how it did. I thought this would be kind of a lower scoring game because Philly has a good defense, and even though the Patriots defense hasn't been what it was as of over the past few years and the other Super Bowl teams where they had really good defenses, Belichick usually he's that type of coach where if you give him the time and he can do all the scouting he needs to do, he's going to come up with a game plan to shut a team down. But that didn't happen. Like this game was put on each offense's shoulders, and they both showed out in it. So I'm not surprised it was in there and was able to like get ahead and win. I'm surprised that this game got up in so high in the score. Brady threw for 500 yards. Like it's crazy.
Yeah. Where it becomes surprising isn't necessarily, well, yes, in the score, but I think, okay, anybody with a set of eyes knows that Nick Foles' fault. Granted, the throw wasn't on the money, but Jeffrey tried to make a human play, tried to keep the ball alive. He batted it right to the. Not much you can do about it. But other than that, like Nick Foles made every throw. We're getting wide open. The Patriots didn't have an answer for it. So in turn, the Eagles didn't have an answer for what Brady was doing. And I think that was what was surprising to me is neither defense got comfortable. Or constant plays of 25 plus yards. Exciting for a casual fan, exciting for really anybody who just likes a fast-paced game. But I think it was surprising that neither defense was able to really get comfortable. I mean, but there's one punt the whole game? Maybe two.
But they didn't punt it at all, did they?
Eagles punted once.
Oh, the Eagles. I'm thinking about the Patriots.
No, I think the Eagles punted once.
Okay, once. Okay.
And that was it for the game. But yeah, I think it was definitely surprising that neither defense was able to, especially when we saw really good defense from both teams in the.
Yeah, one punt, one turnover, or two turnovers in the game. The Brady fumble at the end of the game.
I was going to ask you guys, I don't know if you saw it, Darnell, but it was the touchdown, I believe, by Ertz. A lot of people a lot of people were questioning that play. It looked like an obvious touchdown to me, but they were saying, oh, well, he didn't catch the ball and whatnot. How did you guys feel about that play? Like, was it just questionable to you? Was it clearly a touchdown? Like, how did you guys feel about that play?
That was clearly a touchdown. People wanted to compare it to the Jesse James touchdown from the Steelers.
Oh, yeah.
He caught it and kind of immediately got hit and was falling forward. I mean, I thought his was a catch too, honestly. Anybody with eyes, if you catch the ball and lean out and the ball causes a fumble, like I don't get why that's not a catch. But with Ertz, he caught the ball, took 4 steps, and jumped over a defender. Like, how many football moves you got to make before it counts as a football move? So yeah, I don't get why people were trying to say that one wasn't a touchdown.
Yeah, because I was just looking. I was like, what the hell are people complaining about? Like, what? Like, I was just like looking at it over and over again. Like, am I crazy or something? But yeah, I was just like, what is there to just even consider that wasn't a catch? Like, it was clearly a catch to me. But yeah, they were. I guess just with this being the Super Bowl and everything, man, you want to get every little call to go your way, I guess, man. So.
Yeah, I mean, people had a little bit more of a gripe. I do still think this was a catch too, but the Corey Clement when he caught it in the back of the end zone. Like, I felt like he had control and was just readjusting his grip.
Yeah.
See how somebody may think he didn't have control there. So, like, I think people might have a complaint on that one, but that Ertz one, just say that one was a touch. That wasn't a touchdown. That was clear. He took 4 steps before leaping.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think the Ertz one was a touchdown, no question. The Corey Clement play, the only reason, and I'm right there with you, the only reason I would be able to see both sides of that is because, like you said, it did look like he was trying to transfer the ball, transfer control, tuck it. The issue, kind of came up was the fact that his foot was out of bounds, but it looked like he kind of regained control. The biggest part of the call down on the field, really for both of them, that was the biggest part of it all. It's always in favor of the call. Well, I don't want to say I'm always in favor of the call on the field, but I'm always in favor of all being the best case scenario, because you can always overturn it. It's always easier to call it a touchdown and then overturn it because all scoring plays get reviewed.
Yeah.
If you call that incomplete, then it's like it would have been a lot harder, in my opinion, to reverse the call, especially when they were scoring plays.
Yeah.
It's cool with both calls. I didn't have a problem with either one, but refs saw what they did. It's on the field, which is good to see. But I also understand, wanting to get a second look at it, and I had no problem with that.
All right, just real quick, Ty, you didn't end up burning your Tom Brady jersey after they lost.
No, it wasn't his fault.
Hey, fumble, man.
Dropped a wide open pass.
He fumbled. He did drop a wide open pass. Yeah, man, dude, that pocket collapsed faster than a cheetah. But the one area I do blame Tom Brady a little bit, though, is on that final drive. The first 3 plays where they forced themselves to have to convert on that 4th down, he missed Gronk on the check down 3 times in a row before he finally hit him and he ran for the first. The result would have been different, but they would have saved themselves about 15 seconds. Just kind of makes me wonder if they would have maybe had a couple different options looking at the end zone, maybe instead of from the 40 or whatever it was, the 50, or they could have been looking at a shot from the 25. Maybe if they would have hit Gronk on the check down a little sooner, because he was open every time. Brady just tried to advance the ball for 20, 25 instead of, be captain check down and take the smart route out, but still had a shot at it at the end, shot to tie it up. So, I'm not going to be upset about it. It's not like this is the Lions I'm talking about.
I was going to say, did you at least feel a little better that it was another Michigan man that made him fumble?
Yeah, it was Wolverine on Wolverine crime. At the end of the day, and I told people, I cheer for Tom Brady. He went to Michigan. It's cool. Graham forced the fumble. He went to Michigan too. But, this isn't the Lions. I'm not going to grow bitter or upset or be too happy over one result or the other.
Yeah.
I just wait for, I'm just waiting for the Lions to get there still.
Since we're on Brady, just real quick, guys, how do you think this L kind of hurt his ranks? This among the greatest QB. I know people were saying, it's either him or Joe Montana. With this loss, do you think? Do you think Joe's the greatest QB Darnell or?
still have Montana over.
Oh, you feel okay? Yeah. So you felt as if this loss kind of hurt Brady's kind of appeal with that, or what?
I mean, he's still a elite, all-time great quarterback. Like in my eyes, no, he just played a team that had a little more firepower. But I guess if I had to put the argument in the realm of how people really give quarterbacks so much credit, but they do. Brady did do a ton that game. He threw for 500 yards. But he did miss some people, and I don't know how much you have to put on a quarterback for a fumble. I mean, I guess Graham was in front of him. It wasn't a blindside hit, so I couldn't totally not at fault for that because it wasn't somebody coming from behind him. It was straight ahead hit on him. And like I said, that if he would have made them big, it was a catchable ball.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's not a receiver, so I can't put too much on him there. But he basically just is what he is. You know me, I feel like quarterbacks just get kind of way too much credit and blame in this sport. The most important position on the field, but they don't do everything. They don't play defense. They don't catch the ball, and you know they don't take handoffs. So
yeah.
I mean, still an elite quarterback. He's a top 5 type quarterback. Some people will still put him 1. I'm not going to argue with them. I still have him as 2 or 3.
Okay.
So,
yeah, it's going to be the MJ argument. MJ was perfect in the finals. Montana was perfect in the finals. I think the thing Brady has going for him is he's matched the ring count.
Mm-hmm.
I think, continuing to get to the Super Bowl, consistency and his longevity. I mean, obviously the dude's 40. But, Montana, that's great. If you want to argue Brady, that's great too. There's strong cases for both. I kind of equated this final or the Super Bowl performance from Brady like the forgot what year it was, maybe 2015, but the finals where he like averaged over 40 points, or whatever it was, and he didn't win MVP.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of equate this performance to that LeBron finals performance here, where the guy just goes off and just has an incredible type game, and LeBron had that basically record-setting type series. Wasn't enough to win, it just shows, having that little extra firepower can, it's like I said there now.
All right, guys. Now another thing too with the Patriots, a lot of people were raising hell over Malcolm Butler not playing. How do you guys feel about that whole situation? You think Bill Belichick should have played him? Just how do you feel about that?
It's just a really weird situation. And if you're looking into the news, the Patriots just seem to be internally as of late. So I don't know if what's going on with here. You're hearing different things. They're coming out that he broke some kind of team rules or something like that. He put out a statement. Brady's backing him up to throw shade at Belichick since it looks like they have some issues going on.
Yeah.
This is just really weird, especially coming from the Patriots camp, which is usually tight-lipped about everything and nothing gets out if any issues are going on. So really weird. I don't get why he wouldn't have played if he was suited up on the depth chart. I guess I can't really assess should he have played unless I know what actually happen? Did he do something wrong enough just to have to be set, or was this just something where Belichick was trying to be too smart and screwed the team?
Yeah, I was about to say, man, you think he probably pulled like a Nick Saban, but with the cornerback or something? Or?
Yeah.
But yeah, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just going to shadow Darnell basically for the first point. He was there, played special teams. My complaint is this dude's basically single-handedly won you a Super Bowl a few years ago in probably one of the more improbable finishes ever. The guy has been one of your key lockdown defenders. And I don't know. It was, something almost so unforgivable that you didn't play him. You think Patriots defense, first name you think of, and the fact he didn't play is a little baffling, but there has to be something that we don't know and probably will never know.
All right, guys. It's enough of the Patriots right now. So what are your thoughts on Nick Foles and his future? What do you think is going to end up happening with him? Think Philly's going to trade?
I think I heard they're willing to take a second-round pick for him. Did you guys see this?
I haven't seen it, but I mean that's not shocking.
Super Bowl. My thing is, who would you rather have, Foles or Wentz? And I think that's the question.
Yeah,
you can't have both.
Hey, Foles got him the championship, man.
That's true. That is very true. But Wentz was the NFL MVP before he got hurt.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's not to say they would have still won the Super Bowl if he played in it or played through the playoffs. Stuff happens. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I have to think with the investment that Philly made in Wentz, that's going to be their guy. So, he's smart to hold on to Foles sometime into the summer, so they at least know. Or hold on to Foles into the summer so they know how healthy Wentz will be coming off of. And then if they know he's on track to start the season, then they can start first. Because, Foles' or trade stock is going to be pretty high just through the summer. They're not taking that Super Bowl MVP away from him. And there's not going to be any film on him to make him look worse. So I think all he has to do is just kind of wait and sit back and see what things look like for next season before they just try giving him away or trading him.
Yeah, I don't think I could have said it any better. I think Wentz is going to be their guy once he is healthy again. I'd be shocked if we see Foles dealt in this offseason. I wouldn't be shocked if they hold on to him, just like I said, until they see kind of what's going on with Wentz. I definitely think Wentz is their guy. There's plenty of teams that will show the interest in Foles that are going to be in need of a quarterback. Basically, any team that doesn't win the Kirk Cousins sweepstakes, they'll all be looking at Foles. Variation of Jets, Broncos. Decided to stick with Patrick Mahomes. Probably, Dolphins. Yeah, there's a handful of teams out there that would be willing to trade for him, I bet. So, there won't be any shock there. So, it's a waiting game.
All right, guys. Now, what are your thoughts on Patricia going to the Lions? What do you think he could bring to the table for the Lions?
Hopefully not the defensive performance that happened in the Super Bowl. But,
honestly, and I actually tweeted about this. So I was like, for people that keep bringing up, the fact that they're worried or whatever because of this defensive performance from Patricia in the Super Bowl. Like, the Lions have a better defense than the Patriots. Plain and simple.
Yeah.
I think they have a more talented defense. So, the fact that he was able to even get to the Super Bowl with that defense is pretty incredible. I mentioned it last week, and they mentioned it in the first quarter of the Super Bowl on the first drive. The Patriots give up a ton of yards, but they don't give up that many points.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of points too, but I guess when you're in the Super Bowl, you don't care how many points you give up, just as long as you score more. They have a better defense than I think people realize. With the Lions defense, he may be able to drop a few new schemes or something that really allows him to thrive. He'll have a lot of talent to play with here. What he brings to the offense, I don't know. I think that'll be what we wait and see. One thing I'm not exactly thrilled about, it's my displeasure with it many of times. Lions can't run the ball. Patriots never ran the ball. So I'm assuming the Lions will not have a run game in 2018. But I do think he'll be able to bring a new attitude, a championship type attitude. I don't think you're going to get a guy like Patricia for him to come in and expect mediocrity. I don't think he wants to come in and start coaching a losing team. I think it's going to be a tough love mentality where Caldwell kind of rallied around the guys. I think Patricia is going to toughen them up, really open their eyes to what it takes to be super successful in the NFL.
Let's hope, because people around here are really hoping for a team that can truly give them some hope, not just get right to the playoffs and kill their dreams immediately.
All right, guys. Anything else to add? Whether NFL, UFC, NCAA Basketball?
Go Lions. Oh, also, real quick, didn't mention it, but Pistons won again tonight, undefeated since Blake Griffin.
Yeah.
Exciting stuff. He's playing well. Looks like this team's found a stride or two. We'll be super excited when Reggie Jackson comes back, though. But I really like what these Pistons are doing right now.
You think DeAndre and Blake will be better than Andre and Blake will be better than DeAndre and Blake?
I think way better offensively. Has a game outside of 2 feet from the basket.
Yeah.
I definitely think we're, at least as of right now, Pistons are just letting Blake kind of run the show. And he wasn't exactly getting that in LA, but I think they're, as of right now, even for them being one of the best 1-2 big men in the East.
Oh yeah, for sure.
If not the entire NBA.
Yeah, you could definitely.
There's an argument.
Yeah, because Boogie's down, so yeah, I wouldn't mind somebody saying that. Yeah, it's both of them can ball, man. Yeah,
and they seem to already enjoy playing together.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's a little bit nervous with this one, man, because I didn't think Blake in Detroit, man. I don't think he would like the geographical location, but hey, it's working so far, man. If they can continue to get them wins, he's getting paid. Hey, it could be here, staying here for the long haul, man. It'll be good for the city. But all right, guys, anything else?
Nope.
Just can't wait for this March Madness, man. It's coming. I think it's the 13th of March that it starts.
Yep, already took the days off.
Yeah, so. Oh, you already got the days off, man?
Oh, yeah. That's a holiday for me.
That's what's up, man.
First Thursday and Friday of the tourney every year. I'm off.
Right. Can't go wrong with that, man. But yeah, I'm excited for that one, man. It's these teams. been balling out, man. I really think, man. Do you think, like last year around this time, just real quick, you think this is like one of the hardest years to pick a winner, like a clear team? Because it seems like there's just so many teams out there this year that can really kind of just take it.
Yeah, I've come to the conclusion it's always hard to pick a winner.
Well, that's very true.
But yeah, there's no team that's like a absolute favorite that just looks like they're so much better than everybody else. For sure.
So,
yeah,
it's gonna be a fun year like always, man. But yeah, I can't wait. This is gonna be a good one.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys, I appreciate y'all for checking us out, tuning in to the show. You can find this podcast on SoundCloud, YouTube, iTunes, Stitcher. Just hit us up in that search engine. We should be able to appear. Also, check us out on Twitter at DKM_cast. And we'll catch y'all on the next episode. Peace.